cutoff is a much longer way around, and you have to have a really fast car and somebody really staying on you. We see problems here with Kenny Hendrick in the 42 car. Looks like he might have a flat tire, I would just possibly guess. That's something wrong, but he started in the back after qualifying 15th.
Yeah, he came all the way up to 9th position. That's the Evander Holyfield-owned car. He will have to go to pit road for an unscheduled stop.
Junior jumped back up on the outside now. Trying to work with Jason Leffler. That's the thing, you just got to find the car, the right car that works well with your car, and I'm sure Junior's just checking it out right now. Yeah, and in Junior's part, whenever Matt Kenseth could stay right with him in the 16 car a while ago, he could push him all the way to the front, even though you're going that more distance around. Junior's able to stay right with the 38 here. You can see they can make a lot of good time. Justin Allgaier thought he was going to get up there and possibly get some of that drafting help, but he got himself in the middle and is going to get shuffled back probably 10 or 12 spots.
Got to believe Allgaier probably heard from his spotter to try to get in that upper lane. And DJ, how much do you trust the spotter, the guys that are way above you here, 7 stories up on the roof? Yeah, this is a day that you have to have someone that you really can trust, but you have to also understand that they're a long way away and things are happening in a hurry where you're sitting. You see the leaders catching a lap car right here, and you know, you got to make plans. These leaders do. You see the lap car now moving to the inside. But a lot of these guys are going to work off of this lap car, and hopefully they can not get themselves in a bad spot. And the problem is you catch him, they're already 2 and 3 wide back through there, and you catch him in the corner, and it makes things a little bit more difficult. Donnie Neuenberger, the 52 car, the Jimmy Means owned car, that's being put a lap down by the lead draft coming by. What that can do when you catch a lap car changes the dynamics of the lines and how they're moving. Yeah, and you could see the guys, a lot of give and take there early on in the race, and that's what you have to try to make this thing last out and not create a big wreck right now. 22 laps in, and we only have 32 cars left in the lead draft. This is typical Talladega NASCAR style. NASCAR Nationwide Series racing. 7 lead changes, 5 different drivers, and cousin Carl showing the way. Time is the season. This Sunday and every Sunday through the rest of the season, every episode of Desperate Housewives is all new. This Sunday, one housewife gets naked. A husband could be cheating. Another housewife gets arrested. And someone makes a deadly confession. ABC's Desperate Housewives, all new Sunday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC.
Is that naked or naked?
Well, in Alabama, it might be naked, but that's okay. New leader here at Talladega. Thrilling racing so far, and you're on board the pole sitter who's back out in front, Ryan Newman.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan Newman has charged back to the front. A lot of dicing going up there in those first 5 or 6 positions. Exciting racing thus far, and anytime you got Earnhardt Jr. up there hunting for that lead, it's going to be exciting.
Now, we're through 26 laps, and we've had 8 lead changes among 6 different drivers. Carl Edwards has led the most so far. We are caution-free. And as they continue jockeying for the lead, it leads us to discuss and preview green flag pit stops. And they begin to happen around lap 40 or so, just 13 laps from now. DJ, Andy, you're a driver. You're out there in this intense action. You're a crew chief. Action. What are you beginning to do? What are you beginning to think about? What are you beginning to say to your driver as you look ahead to these pit stops? Well, as a driver, you're going to get yourself positioned. Once the crew chief starts talking about that we're getting close to that, you have to get yourself positioned. You can't be in the outside line coming off of turn 2 and down the backstretch and think that you're going to pit that lap. So you start positioning yourself for that, and then letting everybody behind you. You have to really wave as much as you can. Let these guys know, because we do see a lot of accidents here, Andy, as you come on the pit road. Yeah, we do, and that's for a crew chief, you're out there trying to communicate with who you want to pit with, whether it's a teammate or who maybe you have made a deal with earlier. You try to communicate with them and say, okay, we're going to pit on lap 43. And you got to make sure you get that lap right, because if you don't, you can be a miscommunication. You can get hung out by yourself after you make a pit stop, and that's never good. You have to have drafting help here. Up front, the 33 car, Ryan Newman. Nice run by Mike Wallace, the 0 car there. Johnny Davis owned car all the way on the high part of the racetrack, and Mike is a very good drafter on these super speedway. Oh, he's excellent. I talked to him down in the garage this morning. He said, okay, I'm out here at Talladega. You got to talk about me. I said, all you got to do is run in the top 10. Well, he's done that so far. He's been up in the top 10 some. He's 15th right now. And no one does more than Johnny Davis with less. I mean, Johnny Davis, the car owner of 2 cars, comes every single week, and his equipment's just getting better and better and more competitive. Yeah, well, we got a little jockeying right there. Stephen Wallace actually gets a little bit loose.
Mike Wallace is a driver that really understands the draft and shows that you can take a car that maybe was off a little bit in qualifying time, but you can get it in here in the draft. If you understand it, you can get yourself up in the middle of the mix.
It's a tremendous equalizer, the draft is, and when you come to Talladega, it's like any car can be at the front.
Yeah, somebody looks awful strong today is Carl Edwards. He's been able to drive himself back to the front a couple of different times. Brian Vickers has done a good job hanging with him and helping him get to that point.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to drive to the front and get to the front, but to stay up there, you have to have a really strong race car. Looks like Carl does have a strong car today.
Brian Vickers, the former winner here in NASCAR Sprint Cup, having a good run here in the Nationwide car. Dave.
Talked to his crew chief, Trent Owens, this morning about Brian in that car, as we see now Junior getting a good push down the backstretch and looking to the inside, possibly to take the lead from Newman. As for the 32 of Vickers, good as anybody at restrictor plate racing, according to his crew chief, as he now tries to push Carl Edwards to the lead.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. retakes the lead on the bottom of the racetrack. Couple of Chevys down low. It is a Ford and Toyota as the lead two cars in the outside draft. Junior Nation on their feet here in Talladega, Alabama. Glad to have you with us here, the world's fastest stock car facility. And Carl Edwards now will get a little drafting shove and go by Dale Jr. and retake the lead.
The thing I'm seeing right here, you see Brian Vickers and Carl Edwards have figured something out on how to stay together and work together. I also see that 33 car Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they figured something out too, and I think you'll see those cars stay together today.
Yeah, I think they were going to stay together more until Junior kind of shoved Ryan Newman back there on the backstretch after he pushed him to the lead a while ago. But they will continue to try to work together, I'm sure.
You mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. How about his older brother, Kerry Earnhardt? Driver for Rick Ware Racing, the 31 car, top of your screen. Kerry now getting back into the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Earnhardt's really have a knack for restrictor plate races.
What was it Shannon said? I'm just going with those great bloodlines when she started picking her draft. She did a good job.
Looks like she was on to something.
Moving in on pit stops, and a lot of strategy now beginning to play out in the pits. You got to have help on the racetrack. You also got to have help when you come down pit road to maybe get some drafting help to get back up to speed. While they think about pit stops, we'll take a break and come back to cover them back after this message and a word from our ABC station.